Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ask a Medium radio show. I am your host, Rev.Ivy Rivera, psychic medium, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Tree Matuszak. How are you today, Tree?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm awesome. And our dear producers will be passing on questions to us throughout the show. So Tree and I will be here to take your questions, whether they be psychic, mediumship, paranormal, lost objects. If you have questions on spiritual or energetic development, feel free to send those in. You can text them to 716-602-1391. I'm going to give that one more time in just a minute. You can also send them in by logging in to the chat room at para-x.com. So again, send your questions into 716-602-1391 via text or at the chat room at para-x.com. All right, well, we are coming to you from the Ivy League Psychic Academy at 4511 Main Street, Amherst, New York, 14226. This is an academy where I train people in psychic mediumship development, tarot. Tonight we have an amazing astrology class going on, teaching the basics in Mercury and retrograde. We also are teaching here in Reiki and paranormal, basically anything energetic, curious, and spiritual we work on. And we welcome everybody to come in, take classes at the school. If you can't be here locally in the Buffalo, New York area, feel free to Skype in from around the world. And if you're interested in some of the classes that are being offered or the events that go on here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, you could check out the website at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. Now, I want Tree, if you could, give a little information on where people can reach you if they are looking for a full reading.
They can reach me through Facebook, which is Theresa Matuszak, Theresa Matuszak. I also have an email, which is treestrunk@outlook.com. And then also for, as far as my jewelry goes, my wire wrap crystals and stuff, you can actually find them here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, 4511 Main Street in Amherst. And I also have a display at Red House Tattoo, which is 4820 Broadway near Transit in Depew, New York.
Her pieces are amazing. And here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, what I've done with the front part of the shop is I've opened it up to local artists, local authors, jewelry makers, henna. We also have, native products, crystals, stones, sage, feathers, anything that you could need for any of your spiritual and artistic needs. And we love bringing in new artists. So if you guys are interested in displaying your things here, get in touch with me. If you're looking for a full reading, I am running a holiday special right now, 30% off, 50% off if you bring a friend, I believe. And you can find more information for me on Facebook at Ivy Rivera or at www.ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. I know we have some questions coming in, Tree, but I need to sort of organize them here real quick. And before we start getting into those, we like to talk a little bit on some of the things that we've learned or that we have found helpful for us with our psychic, mediumship, empathic abilities and sorting with paranormal and all kinds of things along that line. One of the things that we wanted to talk about today was the basics in communicating with spirit or tapping into our own intuition. So we wanted to touch on symbols and why symbols are such a huge part of intuition. And possibly also, I think, we want to talk about some of the clairs that go on. So people receive their information through the clairs, and also symbology is the most basic form of receiving a message, and people don't really understand that at all. So what would you say is the most common way that you were receiving your information before you came in for, formal training or just over the years? What was the first thing that you started getting that you knew was coming either from spirit or from your own psychic ability? How did you get it?
Honestly, I believe it was really clairaudience was really kind of, or claircognizance, claircognizance was the one thing I've always had since, God, as far back as I can remember. I just had this really strong intuition of knowing if somebody's got bad intentions or knowing if somebody was lying. Like and I would feel everything too. So it was really just that knowing of how another person was reacting towards something or what was going to happen. I would honestly get like these, I call them the belly aches, and it would end up coming around my birth time, or the 15s of the hour, whenever something was going to happen. And there it was 2:15, 3:45, whatever time of day, and it's like, ow, what's going on? And then within the day or within that week, something would take place. So for me, it was always claircognizance, like boom, right from the beginning.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Now, at what point you're having clairaudient ability, the ability to hear them?
Yeah, that came a little bit later.
Okay, and can you explain when your clairaudient ability, and for everyone out there, claircognizance is known as the great understanding, the all-knowing. It's a way of not really being able to define how you know something. You just tend to know past, present, future, everyone's perspective on a situation. It has been labeled as something that is bestowed upon us by God if we have decided to live a life of service in any true way. So when Tree's talking about claircognizance, that's more what she's referring to. Now, clairaudience is the ability to hear spirits in your head, but we believe that it's our own thoughts. Most people don't understand that this is happening at all. They just think that they're thinking. And people who have clairaudient ability, while it's an amazing gift to have, and every student I have that comes to the academy wants to build that, the thing is this: you're also susceptible to negative or lower energies, especially if you're doing, paranormal work, ghost hunting and things like this. You're putting yourself in a lot of earthbound type situations, toxic atmospheres. You have to remember that if you have clairaudient ability, as wonderful as it can be, you're also extremely susceptible to negative thoughts being put in your head. And this is why we always need to be careful for depressive thoughts or anything bad repeatedly coming in. Don't identify everything as being your own. Be very critical when you have this ability as to whether or not someone else put that in there. So you developed clairaudient ability when, and how did that happen for you?
I think it was honestly just after I moved out on my own, and finally getting my own apartment, cutting those strings from mom and dad, moving on out. And it was in like a month after I had moved out on my own that I was like, whoa, like things just all of a sudden heightened.
Why do you think that happened?
Maybe because I was out from under the protective thumb. I don't really know.
Were they loud?
It did get kind of loud, yeah.
I mean, like, were your parents so loud that, like, you couldn't hear clearly? Or were you, distracted?
Yeah.
Like, were you so distracted and thought of, like, when you were near them, maybe it was a distractive energy, and once you eliminated that?
I think so, because I'm one of 4 kids. I mean, we had a family of 6, plus a dog and a couple cats, so it was a very busy household. So the only time that I had sanctuary was in my room, and I always knew if somebody was in my room, I'd go right to that sibling and say, hey, give it back. And they're like, wait, who ratted on me, when nobody did.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, it was about roughly when I was about 24, 25, I moved out on my own, and within a month, I'm literally hearing things, and it does come through as thought, and you would think it is your own thought, because it is your voice that you're hearing, at least for me it is.
Yes.
And it's your voice that you're hearing, but it's such an off-the-wall thought that you're really like, wait a minute, why in the world would I think something like that? Why all of a sudden would I think about Uncle Mac's tobacco days where he was trying a cigar, and then all of a sudden I'm smelling cherry tobacco, and I'm like, wait a second, what is this, So, yeah, it definitely started kicking in at that point.
And it just tends to really be, for most people, that they'll hear something in their head, almost in like a bad situation, or when they really need some insight, or the way I feel like my aunt does it for me is when I need humor, or if I'm doing something wrong, she'll just I'll just hear that I'm a piss pot. I'll just hear the word piss pot. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I gotta check is my ego out of whack? Did I just am I about to do something? Just the most subtle ways that they come in just to remind you, or I'll hear something that, my aunt or my grandmother would have said in humor to a situation that I'm being far too serious about. And I'm like, that was not my thought. It was, but it wasn't. Right. And you'll be like, that's something they would say. And know that a lot of the times, too, that we're driving around, living our lives, and we start thinking of a loved one, like you said, your uncle and his tobacco and all of this, you're smelling it. it's often not us that's thinking of them. We alwaess put ourselves first. It's really probably them that came to us. And then we're thinking of them. Okay, so that's interesting. With claircognizant or clairaudient ability, rather, being able to hear them. And then again, that is the kind of thing that we sort of need to protect ourselves from a bit more. Now, I do want to get on to a couple of the questions that we have here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about clairvoyance. What is it in all actuality? How does it help us with our development? What does it mean for you as a psychic, or if you're trying to be a medium? What can you do to improve upon your clairvoyant ability? And then we also have clairsentience. And we have clairempathy. And then we're going to, talk a little bit about symbols, basic symbology, so that when you guys are communicating with your loved ones from the other side, you aren't so confused. Like, what the heck does this symbol mean? Like, it doesn't always come with clarity. That's the unfortunate part about symbols. But we are going to break it down for you guys so you can walk away with at least a few, so you very clearly know what the message is in those. I want to start getting to a couple calls. Tree, you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's move. All right. We're as ready as we're going to be. So here we go. We are going to take a call from a 292. We're not actually taking a call. This is a text from a 292 number. This person says, "Hello, Ivy. My high school friend passed away unexpectedly at the age of 41 last week. Her autopsy results came back inconclusive. Toxicology will be taking a few weeks. Is there any way to know if she is okay? Our entire class, her family, and her friends need closure. Thank you for your time." From a Tanya Candler. Okay, thank you, Tanya, for that. Let's see what we can get with this. Okay, the first thing that I'm getting is I feel almost like an aneurysm type of a situation, and I feel like something at the back of her throat and in the back of her head. It feels like a blow. It feels like a quick impact, and it just feels like an explosive situation. I'm also feeling like there was something going on just before that in the lower back area and radiating off to the side, which makes me wonder if there was some kind of liver-kidney issue going on as well that could be, again, I can't prescribe or diagnose, but it could be attached to this somehow. So what came first, chicken or the egg, is a bit debatable. What I'm really feeling from her is she's showing me a lady in a chair, and I'm not sure if this is her mother, if this is just a female who was very close to her, but rocking in a chair, very nervous, very upset, rocking back and forth and back and forth. And she's wiping off her forehead, and she's kind of, stroking her hair, like around her face. And she's just saying, just calm down. It's not that bad. I'm good. I'm okay. Mm-hmm. And it's not that bad. We need to stop thinking of this in terms of trauma, and we need to start thinking in this of terms of the here and now, which is okay and peaceful and good. She's very optimistic. She has a beautiful smile. She's laughing and telling jokes already, and I feel like this is going to be one of the ways that she communicates with you guys. I'm also seeing stones and crystals, and it looks like ladybugs being put on your path. Also communicating with a few people through birds, standing on your lawn or at the front of your car. So be watching for her with this. And I feel like release the trauma. She is not in any kind of trauma. Okay, so please let it go. Tree, what are you getting with this?
Definitely a very lively lady. I mean, she just seemed like she was kind of like the one that kind of sat back a little bit, but then when she got going, she was the life of the party. I do feel that, she is happy. She was not in any real major, I'm not feeling any major pain or anything at the time of the passing, but it is unfortunate. But she just wants to send her love for everybody, and that she is sorry she's not there, but please don't worry about her, and please move forward with love in your heart and her in your heart and so forth.
And I feel like there's also a gentleman around her who is almost getting the sense of, like, I cannot wait until this is over. Like, it just feels like this is going to be an eternity before it's over. And I feel very strongly that there will have to be periods of time for that person where you're just taking time away to mourn the situation, to be open to her coming through and sitting and spending time with you, whether it's in the woods or by the waterfront. You're just going to need to just sit there and let it out. And if that means that you have to like leave work, if that means that you have to skip out of situations that feel a little clustered, like, you know, meetings or felt more like parties and things, it's like, oh, well, I gotta go. And that's all there is to it. You do not need to explain yourself, remove yourself, know that she is there with you. And, she'll be visiting you guys in some dreams, okay? But has absolutely crossed over into the light and is doing very well. The autopsy will be a smooth situation. Thank you so much for that question, Tanya. Yes, do we have a couple other ones coming in?
Yeah, actually, we do have a question coming in from Elizabeth on Para X Radio. But one thing I do want to mention to our listeners is that questions can also be asked on our Facebook event page, which is Ask a Medium free 7 p.m. Tuesday Eastern Standard Time, www.parax.com.
You're killing me. Is that the title to the event page?
It is, because we had to differentiate between this one and the one on Sunday nights as well. So as long as they type in the Ask a Medium free 7 p.m., Facebook should pull it up for you.
Ask a Medium free 7 p.m.
Tuesdays
is the event page. It'll pop up right away.
Yeah,
it's basically Ask a Medium free.
Yeah.
Then it'll pop up in your search. Okay, good. So they can send them there to the event page. You guys are checking that.
Yeah, they can do that tonight.
Awesome.
I just had to get it set up so people knew where to send the questions.
All right.
So our first question comes in from Elizabeth on Para X Radio, and it says, my friend wants to come here to live, to where I live, to visit me, but they are a little worried about it. What do you think? Do you think things will work out between us and their trip to me?
You know, I'm getting a little bit of chaos, actually. I'm almost feeling like homesick. I'm feeling like I'm not ready for this. I'm feeling like I want to have the wings to fly, and I have the wings to fly, but I don't have the mentality to fly. I feel like a little bit of tripping up. I feel like a little bit of being sent back home, not in a literal sense, but because I'm going to choose to. And I do feel like you would be taking on a little bit of a maternal situation in this. And I want to say that as far as you're concerned in it, you know, you are to have some very good boundaries if you decide to do this. Like, I am not your mother. I am not your caretaker. You know, I am here, but this is, let me just put it this way. I wouldn't tremendously encourage it. Tree?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm kind of feeling that, too, because right away I felt a little bit of, it's going to be great in the beginning. And everything, but then after a while, it's like, make sure you got your own space and you're separated, and there's going to be confusion over whose is what in the fridge. And just little stressful things that can cause a little bit of friction, but I'm not seeing major friction, like no big arguments or get out or anything like that. It's just more of a, you need your separate space. As well as I think it'll work out okay, but I mean, there's going to have to be some separate spacing here.
Yeah, it's going to be work, for sure. And, you know, your friend seems to be an emotional character. I do see meltdowns in the personality. And I want to use an example that Tree brought up earlier. Tree, when she left her house, developed a clairaudient ability. All kinds of things started to change. Everything tends to take on a new life. And, you know, you want to be realistic about things like that. When someone leaves their homestead, they change an awful lot. So you're going to be witnessing all of this and living in the heart of it. And, you know, it's not your responsibility. It's keep the friendship alive.
And that can cause the friction too.
Yeah.
You know, that can cause some major...
Because people don't know what they're going
dilemmas.
through.
No, I love you, but I hate you right now kind of thing. You know,
I may hate you tomorrow, but let's try to do dinner on Wednesday, you know, like whatever. Yeah. So, you know, it'll be all right. But, you know, stay friends. Most important thing, stay friends, set up your boundaries and have them in a very clear way before you get into that situation, and have a good time. Make light of it. Yep. Yes.
We do have one more coming in from Para X, and this comes from Dragon Eye. Their question is, can you tell me anything about my life contract? And, kind of unrelated, do you know why I'm so connected to wolves?
Totem animal. Sorry.
Go. Yes. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, definitely a totem animal. I'm getting kind of like a flocking with the wolves once in a past life, and this I think might be leading into life contract here. But definitely feeling a bonding there, like it's kind of feeling like a very Native American experience, like there's one with the animals, maybe a shamanistic type of feel is what I'm getting. But wolves, definitely, you have that strength as they do, the intelligence as they do, that spiritual nature as they do. So I'm definitely seeing like running with the wolves, like one with the wolves.
Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling, as far as your life contract is concerned, I'm feeling like the wolf is sort of interesting that you would have brought that up, because it's sort of a representation for what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. It does feel like you're like a leader in a lot of ways. So I'm not saying that you're necessarily a lone wolf or that you're not with the pack, but I'm getting a sense of you being like at the head. And I feel almost like you would be responsible. Part of your life contract is for going out and getting for others, taking care of other people. And it feels like it comes really naturally to you in a lot of ways, but I almost feel like lately and in the last like 2.5, 3 years, you've been like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I just have a resistance to wanting to do this anymore. How about time for me? How about more for me? And I just feel like it's not really in your nature. So you're going to, in looking at your life contract, you're going to need to be a little bit, how do I want to say? Ignorant of your feelings, okay, which I would actually recommend for most people who are knowing that they're supposed to be doing one thing, but feeling like they want to do something else. Oh, wow, this is a major downfall in our society and worldwide. Everybody's running by emotions all the time. We have to forget about that. You know that you're supposed to be helping people and you're supposed to be leading. So whether it makes you uncomfortable or it's a lot of work, I do feel like that's where you are in life right now, looking at that contract and spreading it outward. So build up and keep going. It feels like momentum picks up real quick for you too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you so much for that question. I am supposed to make an announcement that for the sake of clarity on that event page that we were talking about, instead of having it be what it was, we have labeled it as Ask a Medium Para X. All right. So basically that's all you guys have to do is type into your search bar, Ask a Medium Para X. The event page will pop up through Facebook and you could post your questions there and we will try to get to them during the show. Your other option is to go to the chat room at para-x.com, or you can text your questions in now to 716-602-1391, and we're going to try to get to all of them. Before we get to these other ones that are sitting here, Tree, I want to talk a little bit more about the clairs and symbolism. What we're trying to do for you guys today is give you a little bit of a heads up into some of the things that we talk about here in my trainings for level 1 psychic mediumship development class. And one of the first things that we get to in the early weeks are the clairs and symbology. So clairvoyant ability. With clairvoyant ability, we're able to see the past, present, and future. Now, it's also really understood as something that psychics have. Psychics are not necessarily mediums. Okay, mediums are automatically psychic. In addition to being psychics, they're able to channel from the other side. And that could be just the dead. It could be the dead and guides. It could be also angels and animals and all kinds of things. So what we have going on with clairvoyant ability is that it's really the lowest level, but it is super, super helpful and can be incredibly accurate and powerful. But it's the lowest level of intuition. It's something that we have an understanding for really in our gut and with our psychic ability. The easiest things to pick up on with clairvoyant ability is going to be human emotions. And so when you're dealing, if anyone's ever had a sort of traumatizing reading, right, from like a street psychic who isn't really in light work, they may have been incredibly accurate, but they may have brought up a whole bunch of emotional garbage, low-level stuff. They may have brought up things, like a traumatizing marriage, divorce, a lost child, car accidents, all kinds of horrible things. And it's not that they're inaccurate. It's just that that's what's easy to pick up on, is the negative stuff and human emotion and any dynamic events. So they may also pick up on like a job opportunity or like a marriage coming up or something great like that. But it is our lowest form of intuition, and we have to be careful really riding that on out and exclusively using that without light work backing it. True?
Yes, very true. It seems to be like it's kind of funny, but I tend to go backwards with things, but clairvoyance, I think, is believe it or not, one of my weakest, actually, and I'm trying to develop that a little further, because I believe that, like, the ability to remote view is some sort of clairvoyance, like, it's kind of connected to it. And
remote viewing meaning?
Past, present, future events, basically, like, images of such, plus also remote viewing to where somebody lost an object,
exactly,
keys and so forth, their child,
being able to find someone's kid in the mall under a rack in Macy's when you thought they were in Old Navy.
Keys, where's my kid?
Yeah, it's fine. It's the finding of objects too, and things like that, paranormal work.
But I mean, it is important. I mean, for me, it seems like my clairvoyance really kicks in more when I am with my tarot cards. Then it's a lot easier for me to be like, okay, here this is. But when I'm sitting there giving a reading, it's more the here and now and moving forward than anything.
Interesting. Okay. And yeah, I love that, because a lot of really great psychics, they use tools. They use, whether they're doing the scrying into the crystal ball, or they're using the tarot cards, palm reading, tea leaves, things like this, the runes. It's pretty amazing to watch, and the accuracy can be insane, which helps us when we're doing more what you were referring to, was when you're giving a reading, because the way that, you've been doing it all these years, and the way you've been trained at the academy is that you're in the moment and you're working with spirit. Mm-hmm. So it's light work, and you're flowing in with that. So you're kind of, all the information is coming down through you versus you're really exclusively using your psychic ability. So it really is a whole different cup of tea.
It really, really is. I mean, like I said, like with tarot, I really feel like, oh, hey, I have a tarot buddy, because I don't have the standard definition of a layout. I never use the same layout each time. I literally hold the card in my hand and it falls where it wants to go.
Beautiful.
So, and then I'm just like, it's literally like somebody's pushing on that card to go down.
Right.
And I just sit there and see what I get from the cards, and then I will read. But, yeah, it's definitely a lot for me. The energy, it just comes in more from my right side than anything, and it just flows right out.
And I want to say with that, too, a quick plug on a tarot class that we have coming up. Amy Liss, Reverend Amy Liss, amazing. One of the best tarot reads I've really ever had, maybe the best. She just really, threw it out there, and we were at a really busy event, and she just blew me away. Everything that she said has been completely accurate and coming true. So I have Amy Liss coming into the Ivy League Psychic Academy, teaching a tarot class coming up soon. You can check it out on the website at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. The way that she is teaching this class is not only in the tradition of the deck, but also in using your own intuition. Mm-hmm. So that way you can branch out. A lot of people get into tarot reading, get stuck, and they can't sort of fully become mediums. They can't branch out into more of the channeling aspects. And so she makes sure that she's not getting you sort of trapped in that system, but allowing you to evolve on your own. And so that's going to be a great class. Check it out. And I just also want to say, on the note of, clairvoyant ability, when we start working with that more, we did some exercises yesterday at level 2 class, where we were doing blindfolded reads, and we were using, our clairsentient ability or clairvoyant ability, not knowing who or what was standing behind us. When you increase these abilities, this is going to help you in paranormal work. It's going to help you in criminal investigations and missing persons work. Lost objects, all of that, because that really is where the fine detail is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very cool. It's very exciting. But again, we have to be careful with that we're pulling light work into it at the same time. So, okay, so we have clairvoyance. Let's talk a little bit about clairsentience. How do you understand that, and when did you gain that ability? It sounds like you always had it.
Yeah, clairsentience, if I remember correctly here, is basically using your senses. Mm-hmm. Your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, and even touch, feeling, and so forth. And I have, because I'm an empath, I have had the ability to feel energy, feel things just coming straight at me. Mm-hmm. So that, I think, was an ability that I probably had from out the womb. Dare I say that,
right.
Like immediately.
So, yeah, I always use my one student as an example, Amanda. She's such a sweetheart. She came in and she trained back when the academy was still in my living room, and we were cramming 50 people in there, and sitting on the stairs and right outside the bathroom door and in the backyard around a fire pit. Amanda came in. She was one of my first students, and she She trained, and then she took about a year off before she came in for level 2. And even after level 2, she would complain, why can I not get clairsentient ability? And so, a couple years had gone by, and she all of a sudden one day came into the academy when we were doing free animal Reiki day, and she held a hedgehog that was constipated.
Aww.
And literally, she felt, lucky her, she was like, I feel so constipated. Like, I feel like something's wrong. And I said, oh my God, it's a hedgehog. Like, it got the same thing. And she was like, are you kidding me? Ever since then, she just exploded. She could feel everything. Now, clairsentience can be feeling physical impressions in your body from an animal, from a plant, from the Mother Earth, from others, from spirit, whatever it is. But yeah, also, like you said, using the other senses, smelling something. You said you smelled your uncle's, cigar.
Tobacco,
I'll smell my aunt's powder. Whatever it is, tasting something. I had an incident once where a lady was coming in for a reading, and her looked like her boyfriend or her husband. I wasn't sure. Her romantic partner was there with me in the living room before she walked in, and he was making me spin around with him in the living room, almost like he was trying to get me to dance with him. And I threw up into my mouth Jack Daniels. And I was like, this is normally my favorite drink, and it is no longer going to ever be that again. And I hadn't had it any time recently, and I said, ew, but I recognized it immediately. Now, of course, he wouldn't have used that with someone else who wasn't going to identify the Jack Daniels. He chose to do that to me because it was my favorite drink. But like I said, I had not had it in a long time, and sure enough, there it was. She sits down with me. She shows up for an appointment. She says, that is my husband who just died. The last time I saw him, I was at a military ball, and he was drinking Jack Daniels. And that was the last time they had spent together. So they pick, clairsentience is a unique one that's easily overlooked because they pick very specific things to give you that are unmistakable. So you guys don't dismiss when you have something like this coming through.
And it's something that definitely is, like a medium and everything, it definitely helps to bring that evidential into it, which really helps that person be like, oh my God, this is my dad, or this is my cousin, or this is... Because you do sit there like, okay, really, is this for real? Like, they're denying it, and they're not... Some of them are not believing what is going on, but as soon as you, bam, there's the info... There you go. They lose it.
You better believe it. That evidential mediumship is something that you could not, as the psychic, as the medium, you could not have made up on your own.
Speaking of evidential mediumship, I do have here from Dragon Eye on Para X and Elizabeth on Para X. Well, first of all, Dragon Eye says, wow, thank you very much. We have a thank you so much from Elizabeth. And Sai on Para X also responds with Rev.Ivy, excellent readings. So, speaking of that, I just thought I had to throw that in.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We love you. Keep listening as we get the show up and running. I think we're only in our 3rd week, so I'm just so pleased with, with the crowd that we're pulling in here, and we're having a ton of fun with it. So thank you so much for the support. I know, we have fans. We're going in the right direction here. It's wicked cool. So listen, we are going to go back over to a question that we have sitting here, and then we have a little bit more to talk about. We want to start training people, not only this, but also the symbology that is so important and so common. So I want to take a question here from a 914 area code, and she says, or he says, okay, it looks like a she says from Linda. Hi, Ivy. Question for tonight. Been ill and struggling with a significant weight gain. Keep trying to lose, and I'm failing. I'm trying again. Will this attempt be successful? Thank you. Okay. All right. What I'm going to recommend to you is something that I do with a lot of my clients. And I'm not pushing a product. I mean, I'd even be happy to work on you for free, but you need a little Reiki. And I can even do it long distance if you want me to do that. I don't know where you're located, but I feel as though some of the things that have gotten into your system, whether that's medication and or a little bit of like a reaction to something else, it feels almost like you have a block in your stomach area, and it feels like it's affecting your metabolism a bit. I have to say this honestly, though. Right now, I feel like it's supposed to be there for whatever purposes it's bringing in healing to you. It needs to be there. What I love about Reiki is that Reiki counteracts negative side effects from medication. And I can still work on you and get your metabolism sped up while this other thing works for you. So I think we just need a little bit of finagling. I would strongly recommend to you, you also feel like a tremendous healer. I mean, there's light beaming out of you. And also from your right side, which is my symbol for power out. So you're an extremely strong, powerful healer. And I feel like you're actually going through this to make you realize what a healer you are. And so that once and for all, you're out there doing this full time for others once you figure out a little bit more about your own self. So it feels like there's a lot of purpose to you going through this. I do see relief. But it feels like a bit of a struggle and then it tapers off. Tree, what are you getting with that?
There's definitely a lot of stress related to it too. I'm feeling like as soon as you started reading it, I almost felt like there's a boulder in my belly. You know what I mean? Like there's pressure right in the belly, like a boulder. And then it reminded me of my own situation where I have a condition that's called PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, where all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom, you gain 40 pounds within like 2 weeks. It's insane. And then the weight loss is nearly impossible. And then if you are of that age where you're 35 to 40, plus, like it makes it even harder to lose the weight. So that struggle is there. I feel like the stress is definitely there. Stress does not help. It actually will help to cause weight gain as well. So I know it's easier said than done, but please try to at least relax yourself and bring that positivity, like you were saying, that healing, that positivity into you. And I think that will really start to help relieve a lot. But yeah, it just felt like there's a boulder just kind of sitting
literally
right there. It's like stress.
It's a mass.
It feels like a big stress ball.
Yeah, it's not literal. It's energetic.
Stress ball.
Wow, isn't that something? So, well, God bless you, Trey. I mean, thank you for sharing. And
sure,
it's all for good. We could turn any situation around into good. And as healers, I think that's why we're given a lot of the challenges that we're given. But it's when Trey was saying, stay positive, stay optimistic about it. Giving out healing to others will then enlighten you and raise your vibration, which is really what's going to remove that block. I mean, if I'm doing Reiki for you, that's really what I'm focused on, anyways, is removing that block. The thing is, too, I feel like for you, fun. Just have fun. It's relax. Like fun, and more fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I felt that, too, like kind of just relax and just, like I said, it's easier said than done, but try to have a little bit of fun with yourself, and go someplace, treat yourself to something nice, like a scarf you've seen or something, something simple. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's going to take some time, too. It's nothing that's going to happen overnight.
No, but I'm seeing you, too. It almost looks like you're running on the beach. And
successful though, I feel like.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, this isn't going to hold. It's not going to hold. So, just learn the lessons you're supposed to learn right now and get that vibration up, and let me know if you want the Reiki. Okay, thank you so much for that, Linda. God bless. It will get better. We have another one coming in from a 414 area code. This person says, I've recently started dating my boyfriend. He's a great guy, but has been having some legal trouble regarding his ex-girlfriend. Will our relationship last? Well, this isn't going to calm down anytime soon. Okay.
She's a Spitfire.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ex, not the... Yeah. I'm kind of feeling there's going to be, I hate to say this, but drama from the ex. It's just going to kind of continue to snowball for a bit. The relationship does seem strong. It does seem like it's fairly solid for right now between you and the boyfriend, the new boyfriend, but really got to find a way to kind of deter her from affecting everything, because she's going to unfortunately start to affect things and bring in stress that's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like, eyes are kind of set. Seems like eyes are kind of set on maybe him at the present time, and then could shift to you. And I don't feel like it would be right for you to kind of hide in the closet and keep this thing hidden away. I feel like live your life and take it on. You guys are going to be tested. You're going to be tested hard and fast, and we'll see what you could do with it. Most people cave, but it does feel like there's a lot of potential here. And I think that you're going to have to be very careful that you don't start to have suspicion against him. Her looking insane helps a lot. So that'll be great.
She's a doozy, I'll tell you what.
But,
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the thing is this, too. You're gonna wonder what exactly is going on with his energy, because I feel him closing you out and shutting down and pulling away. Not necessarily just to, say, well, I want to protect her from this. I don't want to put all this on her. Not only that, because he really doesn't want to be there, but it's also just his way. So when he shuts down and sort of disappears and puts up walls, that isn't so great for your relationship. He fluctuates between that, and I'm watching this over the next few months, if you guys hang in that long, which is your free will. So it's not like will it end, it's what you choose to do. But he'll fluctuate between that and then almost needing you for things. A little more than what you're comfortable with. And that kind of neediness very early in a relationship can also throw some spikes in the wheels. I would recommend that you sit down with a notepad and a pen, find a quiet place, maybe down by the waterfront where you're going to get a lot of intuition. Call in your guide, your relationship guide, and ask for a roadmap of what this thing is going to look like month to month. Write it down. Be prepared for every obstacle that's going to come your way so you are ready to sneak up and fight it and win this thing. I think you guys have a good shot at making it, but you would have to be at the head because he is in no position right now. He's too weak. Okay, thank you.
Definitely.
Yes.
I was just going to say definitely because the ex-girlfriend definitely knows what buttons to push.
She
and
sure
what to
does.
Trigger.
But she doesn't see this chick coming from the other way.
No, so I would say definitely give him what he needs for his space, but I mean definitely keep in there and let's try to find a way to get that ex-girlfriend to disappear, you know what I mean? Just kind of show no interest because it seems like if you feed her, she's going to keep coming at you.
That's right.
So
that's right. You can protect yourself.
Yeah.
This is a good time for you, Hun, to use the tools that we're talking about tonight. To use your senses, to use your intuition to figure out what's coming up next. It's really not that hard to do.
Can I just add something here? I just want to say to the person who has the last question that Ivy actually suggested this to me a few months ago, and I really had no idea what I was doing, but it works. Information comes through, and what Tree was talking about earlier, you think it's you, and you're like, I don't know, but I wrote it down anyways, and sure enough, within the place, the time frame, what the person looked like, I mean, it was, it's pretty amazing. I was surprised with myself and grateful to Ivy for suggesting it.
And fine detail you can get. Yeah. But you did it the right way. You broke it down. When it's overwhelming, it's hard to get it right. When you take that notepad and that pen, you've taken the time, you've called in your guides, and you break it down maybe month by month or what you did detail by detail, just asking the right questions, it's very simple.
Mm-hmm. And Ivy, just real quick, because I wasn't sure, and I believe I asked you after you suggested it, I wasn't sure quite how to call the guides. Could you tell her? Yeah, I wasn't sure quite how to do that. So.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. I want to do a real quick plug before we get into calling in the guides. I want to recommend, that you guys do check out the website at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com, where I am offering readings, where we do psychic fairs, where we have amazing readers like Tree and a bunch of other students working. We have crystals, sage, smudge supplies, spiritual development classes, local artists, local authors, jewelry makers, native, art, all here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, and you guys can Skype in for classes from around the world, or you can come on down to 4511 Main Street in Amherst, New York. Okay, so on that note, when we talk about calling in guides, everybody really has a different routine for doing this. And not everybody feels like, the minute I called in my guide, they were there. I have the best guides. Some people feel like they're in a desert alone. But you have to know that these guides are appointed to you. Mm-hmm. There are different phases that you'll go through where you feel proximity to them or not. But regardless, it is you setting your intention and your faith, your knowing that they are here working with you. So when I call in my guides, what I basically do is I just make a determined amount of time to sit there and do nothing else. I just say, I'm going to sit here and I would like to talk to you. Could you come and talk with me? And that's basically it. But I've been doing it a while, and I just listen. And they use whatever abilities that I have and show me whatever things it is that they want to tell me at that time. There was a time when, because I have one guide, my relationship guide, switches out a lot. My other guides are consistent, but not that one. So I'm just fortunate that way. So every time I get a new relationship guide, I basically spend a little extra time on that, sitting with them, asking them to come. I also invite them to come through and communicate with me during my dreams, because I have vivid dreams, and so I know that those are visit dreams, and I get to know them better during that time. Tree, what do you do?
Well, the first thing, it was kind of funny because when I first taking level 1, psychic mediumship level 1 with you, I was like, guides, really? What's this? I hear enough from whoever else is out there. What other voices am I going to hear? So I'm like, oh, good grief. But no, I really wasn't sure how to approach it at first, because it was really, you just have to relax. Because if you're not relaxed, you're really not going to get it. You're going to block yourself terribly. Yep. And so one day I was just kind of like, okay, I need to relax. And I actually started dozing off on the couch. And I came to because I started hearing like this happy song and everything, and then it was like an old song my parents used to listen to. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, who's there? Okay, what guides are here? And then I was like, is this my joy guide? And I literally got the image of Happy the dwarf from the Seven Dwarves.
Aww,
and then I saw this like clown presenting a bouquet, like ta-da! I'm like, okay, so he's a funny fellow. All right, here we, and they all came through like immediately, and they all gave me initials because I wasn't sure, like, am I paying attention correctly? And I got initials as to what they are, like, so joy guide, happy. And then I got, like, the relationship love guide. I got an R for, like, roses. And then I got a C for, like, Cupid. And I'm like, okay, they're going to be very vague like me. Like, okay, I see where we're going with this. But, yeah, if honestly, now it's to the point where I just say, okay, I need you. Boom, there they are.
And you don't negate it. Any information that comes through to you, you don't negate that maybe it was your imagination or it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you just allow. And if you don't necessarily feel them, they're like, gangbusters, that's okay. Then just listen for the intuition and let the magic happen. You don't have to have that part of it. We do teach a class here called Coffee with Your Angels. We teach another one called Meet Your Guides. And I walk you through the steps, through very simple meditations and meeting each one of them, including your Akashic Record guide, who holds your past life information. And that would help a lot with relationship stuff, too.
That was a really fun class. Like, I think I might just take it again because it was a fun class. Like, I really, really enjoyed that.
It is a riot.
Oh, gee, I should have took it because that easy. I'm sitting on my couch for weeks at a time waiting to find my guides, and all of a sudden, here
and then in like a 2-hour thing, we've met them all, and we have the greatest like stories to share, because it is nutty, and sometimes people share guides, and that's really wild.
I have to say, though, last night when we were doing level 2, after we were practicing the 20-minute reads, and I had one of our classmates, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie, I'm saying your name. Her guide, she was saying how she was having trouble hearing her guide, and I literally saw her guide. He gave me his name, and he's like taking tweezers trying to pull cotton out of her ears.
Yes, I was standing there for that. Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, he's like pulling cotton out of your ears, but again, the situation where if you feel that you can't relax, you're blocking yourself, therefore they're muted.
And she said that just in the days before class, she had said directly to that guide, please let me hear you through clairaudience. And what he showed you was pulling the cotton out of her ears. It was pretty wild.
It was really pretty. He was cool. I liked him. He was funny. He kind of reminded me of my guide. Like, I think they were sitting there laughing over milkshakes or something. But he was a pretty funny guy.
Well, let's talk a little bit, too, as we're nearing the end of the show. What do we have, about 10 minutes left? Okay, cool. Let's talk a little bit about clairempathy. Clairempathy, the idea that we have empathic ability. For those of you who aren't familiar with empathic ability, Google it. It is a whole show in itself. I do a class, try to do it once a month, called Empathic Means, which helps tremendously with people who are suffering disorders like ADHD, OCD, bipolar disorder, social anxiety disorder, even fibromyalgia. When you tap into your empathic ability and you learn how to control energy, what you can do is reduce either the disorders or, a lot of the side effects from disorders. So this class, it's a lecture, really. It's well worth taking. Now, the idea of having clairempathy, is that you're feeling what the other people are feeling, or you're experiencing yourself, what is going on around you. Now, that could be mental, emotional, and physical. This one's a doozy.
Yes, it really is. It's a mess.
It's a little much. It's essentially a disorder.
It can be very overwhelming, because even if you've just kind of relaxed and you're all calm, and then somebody comes in having an anxiety attack, you're like, why is my heart wanting to pop out of my chest all of a sudden?
Yeah.
It can be quite overwhelming if you're really sensitive.
And, when people are going through, like, the biggest peak in it, which is, like, around, 14 to 16, and every time you get in a room of other people, you're picking up on so much of them that you could feel as though, you're losing your own sense of self.
Yes.
It's overwhelming. Anyways, that clear empathy is a big one, but know that it is the kind of thing where you have to start figuring out what is mine and what is others. Mm-hmm. Detach yourself. You could also pick up energy off of objects, atmospheres, the dead. I mean, it all comes at once with clear empathy. So it's an amazing ability to have. It's a blessing and a curse. Yes.
I do have one quick question coming in from Facebook. We have about 9 minutes left.
Why don't we do that one, and then we'll shoot out a few quick symbols to people so that they can understand what their loved ones are telling them, and we'll wrap up the show.
Excellent. Okay, so this one comes from Michael from Facebook, and it says, what does the new year have in store for me?
First thing that I'm hearing is love. I'm also feeling like fun and adventure. I'm feeling like a trip, travel within the first 3 months. Yeah.
Super busy. I'm definitely getting the love thing, because I'm seeing, the heart, which is, hey, one of my symbols.
That's a big one. That's a confusing one. We're not going to cheat them on that one.
No, he's super busy. It's kind of, I'm kind of getting, the whole dizzy whirlwind kind of a thing. So definitely have your feet planted heavy and figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, because it feels like the plans of action are literally going to just fall like dominoes, dun, 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 you're going to keep going for 6 months to a year.
Oh my God, that's exactly it. You read my mind. It's like you're psychic or something.
My hands, I'm telling you, the hands.
The hands are telling. It's like 6 to 7 months out. Yeah. There's a shift. There's a major shift. And I am seeing it as black, which is going to mean that it is within your free will domain. Mm-hmm. That means that it is not written. So I can't tell you what's going to be in there, because you're going to choose it. And I feel like a ton of opportunity. But yeah, it feels like you're sort of throwing out seeds, you're growing a harvest, and then 6 to 7 months in, you're really picking that crop. Mm-hmm. Okay, very exciting stuff. It looks like a potential relocation by the end of that upcoming year as well, and I would recommend doing it. It feels good. Yeah. It's almost like you keep your home base, though, a little bit.
Super busy.
Super busy. Good luck, Mike. Looks like a ton of fun. Okay, so I know that we just have a couple minutes left. First thing I want to say, water. Water as a symbol. Water is going to represent the person's emotional state. Murky waters means they're depressed. Clear waters means that they're happy. Turbulent waters that go calm would mean something like, we are having some difficulty right now, but life will be calming down. Rain, waterfalls is going to represent washing away of old negative things that you no longer need, or letting go of things. Ladybugs are good luck. Bumblebees are prosperity. Mm-hmm. Eagles are overcoming, rising above. Throw some out if you get any here. Apples represent children. Trees are also prosperity. A path would mean that you're on the right path, or you're heading toward the right path, meaning what is in your life contract and what you're supposed to be doing in life. But you have to look at the fine detail. Is the person actually on the path? Are they staring at it? Are they sitting on the side?
I actually once had a rubber ducky on the water, and it was flowing outward. That to me basically meant that the emotion had surfaced, and it was carrying out, and things were kind of clearing out. So it was on its way, moving forward, almost like a ship. A ship would move on out. Good. And so forth.
Also, a boat is a symbol of prosperity. A boat or a ship is a symbol of prosperity within love life. When you see a spoon or a teacup or sugar, that can also mean a lot of prosperity, as well as a table or a chair. You just want to make sure they're not tipped over. A wishing well can mean the same thing. And you can go over to the wishing well and look down into it and see whether there's actual water, whether you can get access to the water. A car is going to represent your level of control in your life right now. If someone else is driving your car, you got a little bit of a problem there. If you're in the back seat, a bigger problem. You want to be in the driver's seat and you want to hopefully have brakes in that car. A train moving in a forward direction would mean that things are moving forward in the right direction. If the train is halted, it means that it will move forward in the right direction with a little bit more of an attempt from you.
Mm-hmm. I also had a bridge one time. It was basically a person standing in the middle of a bridge, which is, you're in the middle of a transition. Past is behind you, move forward, go down the bridge into the new way, the new path, and so forth, and move forward.
Awesome. Actually, I just have a quick question about this. Okay, so if these symbols are representative of this stuff during like clairaudience or clairvoyance, or like during like
a spirit comes through and they show you this image or something like that. Yeah.
Now, would this also apply like to like dreams? Because
it's exactly the same.
Okay. Exactly the same. Yeah.
So it is. These are ancient archetypes. I would always recommend this dream book to everyone. It's a requirement for my students to get it. It's called the Dreamer's Dictionary. It was reissued in '95. It came out in the '70s. It was written by Lady Stern Robinson and Tom Corbett, Corbett. He is a psychiatrist and she was a psychic, and it is amazing. My great grandmother had it, and it's all yellow and falling apart. Thank God it was reissued. You usually have to order it through Amazon, or Barnes & Noble will order it for you. You can look up the symbology there, as well as A to Z Dream Dictionary through Google. They have more modern interpretations that you can coincide.
I do want to throw in there, too, that often I do have them and other people have them, crystal dreams. Or you'll get a symbol of a crystal. You'll see a specific stone, crystal, amethyst, quartz, whatever, all the time. What I can recommend for that is Google it. Google that stone. Look it up, because usually the direct meaning of the stone is what it's telling you in your dream or while you're awake.
That's awesome. I've been getting that too. Ever since I started hanging out with you, Tree, I've been getting like, during my readings, like stones will just like fall from anywhere. And I'm like, well, what is it? And I'm learning more. And they are symbols.
I love my rocks. Yeah.
And for those of you who really feel like, oh, I can't remember all this, or I can't figure out symbols, get a tarot deck. Train yourself in tarot symbology, and Spirit will use that system. They use whatever is in your head.
There also are tarot cards out there. I actually have one of the decks of this. It's Messages from Mother Earth. It is actually a deck that has crystals on it, and it gives a brief description of the crystal. It's a lot of fun, because I sit there and I'll hold my hand over the card, and you get an image of your mind of what that card might be. It's fun when you flip it over and it's actually that color.
Yeah, this is what the grandmothers used to do with the normal deck. Right? We could use anything. That's so cool. I love it. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for listening. Tune in again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. here at Para X Radio, right before Down the Rabbit Hole. And please Skype in for classes or come in and visit. Also for readings with me at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. You can find it at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. I'm at Ivy Rivera psychicmedium.com. And Tree is at
Tree's Trunk at Outlook.com, as well as on Facebook, Theresa Matuszak, Matuszak.
Okay. Also, again, we are running a Christmas sale at the Ivy League Psychic Academy in the gift shop, where you guys can get anywhere from 10 to I think 30% off from readings, crystals, sage, smudge supplies, spiritual development classes, as well as local art from artists, authors, jewelry makers, and Native American products. All right. Looking forward to talking to you guys again soon. Thank you so much, and many blessings this week.
Have a wonderful day, guys.